have a real
All right, guys,
conversation about it.
we're official on the second half. It's 9:03, September 8th. We've got dudes like us just sitting around talking about shit that's going on.
40 men, 9 flags.
Nice.
Drinking.
What are we
bourbon.
drinking? What's this one?
This
We're on
is
early times.
This is the early times bottled and bond.
I like this
which-
one better than
The port.
the Black Ridge. Was that called?
Yeah, the Black Ridge
I
Port.
liked this
Yeah.
one better.
Yeah, when I first told Sean, I was like, "Yeah, they're recommending a early times." He's like,
Yeah, I blew it off. Early times was like, well, I bartended. Fuck, such a long time ago, man. I bartended 30 years ago, man. If not more. It was more.
"That was the '90s."
I bartended in 1988. Okay, so in 1988 they had early
That
times.
was 32 years.
I know, isn't that crazy? Goddamn.
Not to be confused with Family Time.
Yeah, no, it's early times. Oh my God,
Dynamite.
So I was bartending. That was the well liquor. It was early times, and I just remember. I remember because in the office back then they had when you'd make drinks, they had a gun. They have two guns. They got a gun that dispenses the
38?
carbonated drinks,
38 or
and
9,
you know
9 mil.
they'd have the L. For some reason, L meant like 7-Up or Sprite. I don't even know why. Lemonade, maybe L. The Q was tonic water, quinine. S was soda, W was water, C was Coke or Pepsi, but it was always C. And and there was a couple more random ones. There was like one that was Tab.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Tab.
Remember that?
What the hell, man? There was
big
Tab
can.
back
You
then.
just
Tab.
completely dated yourself.
Yeah, well,
completely.
Well,
that's the
they
thing.
they still sell that shit.
Do they?
Yes.
So in the back of the
Tab.
office, they had
pink
these
can.
reservoirs. They had on the wall, and there was a bunch of tubes coming out of these. So they had like 5 big 1.5 liter tanks of booze that would fall into this funnel, and the funnel would fall into this reservoir, and it would all consolidate into this one tube, and it would be pumped into these little handguns. And so if you wanted a bourbon and Coke, you hit the B of the bourbon, which is very simple, B, G, V,
Seriously.
T.
So the gun
Sure.
it would dispense distilled.
It would be
Liquors.
Yeah, whatever would come through the tube. So they'd be like bourbon and Coke.
That's
Done.
I've never seen that.
Boom.
V is for vagina.
Nice.
Nice.
Vivisection.
I don't think that's what that meant. Oh, Collins. That was the
Vodka
other mix.
Collins.
There was
The
a
vodka
vodka Collins. There
Collins.
was a Collins mix on there too.
See, vagina. It spurred his memory to Collins
Can
for
you
some reason.
can you timestamp that, Mr. Producer?
So
We're not allowed to use the
Okay,
V
I
word.
think I've got a nice phraseology to solve some of our heavy topics earlier, and we'll use your early times example.
Well, let me
Oh,
finish
sorry,
about
keep
the early
going.
times.
Yeah.
The reason why
Did you
I
say wet times?
discredited the whole early times thing
He scoffed
was
at it.
because I did scoff at it because it was a horrible tasting bourbon back then.
It's a cheap bourbon.
Well, in retrospect, now I understand. Back then, it may have tasted okay, but I started realizing that the bar owners would take the booze and they would add water to
Oh
it,
hell yeah!
and so they would take a
That's what they do in Mexico, man.
whatever.
And,
That's-
Russia, and Russia.
this was
That's such crap.
They-
This was
they
in
do
El
it here.
Paso. It was right over the border on 800 North Zaragoza.
Yeah, but
right?
that's in the U.S. of A., baby.
No,
you don't do that shit in the U.S. of A.
They had
Well, they did
kerosene
there.
and formaldehyde in Mexico.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Good Lord, really?
Yes.
Oh,
At the all-inclusives, there's been a spur of women, or actually not all women, but women mainly, because what they'll do is they'll fill these bottles up, but they'll mix it with, you know how you're supposed to mark the bottle so you can't reuse it. Well, they'll find it and they'll fill it up with kerosene and chemicals and shit like that, and then add color to it, and then they'll serve it. And what it does is it knocks these people out.
You think?
And
Yeah.
a lot of the ladies get raped, and a couple of ladies
Go
got
on.
killed.
That's fucked up.
Really?
Date rape shit.
Yeah. So that was happening at some of these all-inclusives down there in Mexico.
People were passing out and dying, yeah.
Yeah, and dying too.
You know what? There was a trend of that going on in the Dominican Republic, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Where people
Oh,
were
yeah.
drinking the liquor out of the minibar and dropping dead of a heart attack.
Yep. That's the same
They were
deal.
trying to point to the alcohol.
It's the
It
same
was. It's the
deal.
alcohol.
That's crazy.
So I definitely I've gone to one of those all inclusives where they have all the liquor bottles in the room. And I tried one of them, and I was like, I mean, come on,
That's good.
it's not even close.
Well, only savants that border on alcoholics like us.
No,
can
I'm a
taste the
full blown,
difference.
full blown alcoholics can
Yeah, you'd
tell.
be like, yeah, that tastes like muriatic acid.
You're right. I just balanced my pool with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
As it eats my insides.
I recognize the
Yeah,
smell.
seriously.
I clean the
When-
algae off
exactly.
my pool with this.
When you bring the glass to your lips and your eyes start burning, that's a really good sign.
So normally at an all-inclusive, I'll just do beers, a little
Right.
safer. Or
Oh, yeah.
when I
That's
chat
good
up the
call.
bartender, I either know he's a friend, and if I haven't convinced him we're friends, when he asks me what I do for a living, I tell him I'm a chemist. That way I know I get the pure
Interesting.
stuff.
Interesting.
Deep
No,
thoughts.
the last one I went
Jack
to.
Andy, baby.
You just throw a few like periodic table elements out at
Yeah,
them.
I'm like, don't make me do the Perkins reaction. It's 37 steps.
Our favorite element is strontium.
Oh. It's
Isn't
in- hold
that-
hold
once
on.
when you oxidize that, that's like protium.
And I'm a little confused
With
by
cornstarch.
That and methane.
What about the hour part? I want to
Add
go back to
methane
the
it,
hour
it
part.
turns to soup.
God. Smells like onion.
Yeah. Heavy fermentation process.
Mm.
Got to break out the
Strontium.
Bunsen burner.
Strontium. That is real.
It is.
Vagtium.
Vagtium.
I
Good
think
Lord.
they need to make a new one.
I think we all know what it smells like.
It's got a
I know what it smells like.
Carp.
cod.
You married the wrong women, I'm telling you.
Salmon.
Oh,
Salmon.
what do you mean the wrong women?
I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh.
That reminds me. I'm not going to say who it was.
It's got a high
Somebody
pH.
which
Aw.
somebody within my family was a total womanizer, right? Complete and total
In
womanizer.
your family.
Who's your dad?
I mean, there's only so many.
How many
No,
brothers
not in
and
my,
sisters you got?
not in
We're
my
gonna go
family,
through it
but
and
in the,
find it.
Yeah, when
Anyway,
we go to
all right,
Colorado
so
for
this
our
dude-
trip, we're gonna find the family
this
album.
dude
We're gonna
in
point this
college
bastard out.
was the ultimate womanizer, right? And he was a total man whore, total man whore. He's he's with a girl, and for some reason, yeah, he gets a close up in terms of, I guess, smell or something, and she goes to the bathroom, and he crawls out the window and runs away
Oh my gosh.
because
That's like in every movie.
because it was so bad.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was a real thing. He really
You know,
did that.
biologically, that
Oh
just
my
means
God.
they're not supposed to mate. Pheromones and stuff don't jive. But anyway, we had a
They're not
plan
supposed to
at
mate.
halftime.
I did not know that. I
There-
just
there
thought
could
Oh,
that
no,
be
that's
other
totally
elements
true.
involved
Right.
in there.
I
like
guess-
Totally.
I guess so.
she just didn't take care of her
Cleanse.
shit.
Yeah, it could be part of
I
that.
mean, There's
Can you imagine the conversation though? I don't think you and I are supposed to mate. Why do you say that?
because it smells
Well,
like
it smells like shit.
Yeah.
No, it smells like cod.
I'm not feeling it, meaning smelling it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're at
Yeah.
a hamburger joint, and I can't get the fucking smell of salmon out of my nose.
It smells like Long John's.
This is going to be an extended
Timestamp.
extended timestamp.
So, for those listening, if you've made it this far, over a few shots of bourbon, we decided to lighten the mood. I think we've accomplished that.
Yeah, it was a hard left.
Yeah.
Well,
All right. Anyway, you keep trying.
Jesus.
Yeah, you have the floor, sir.
Me? What the hell?
Well,
am
you
I
were
gonna
going to say something.
all right, you know what?
There was something-
we've been trying. Oh, sorry. What?
Well, it was unrelated to a vagina. You were going to say something.
Were you?
That was so many laughs ago.
I know.
We'll see if
All
it
right,
comes
so,
back. We'll see if it
Tell you
comes
what.
back.
Here's something I'd like to chat about. I'd like to talk about tattoos, and I'll start off a couple scenarios.
Okay.
And I first want to declare that I don't have any tattoos.
Racist.
I am. I'm not against tattoos. Excuse me. I'm not against tattoos. I want one. I just can't figure out which one to get.
Oh, fascinating.
So
Okay.
I'd love to get one, and but I can't figure it out. I'd like something that
Get your
would-
mom's face on your left tit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh damn, dude! You could have said breast or
no.
your pectoral, my tit.
Yeah. That's pretty inflammatory.
So I was thinking of getting something about my name, the crest of my name, tied into a Millennium Falcon, tied into a sword, tied into I don't know.
Well,
There's
you're
so many-
making fun of your son's sword.
Well, I did a little bit, but then I started really digging into, the sword is the word of God, and just I get it. There's a lot to it, and and really it's personal. So tattoos are personal. I don't like anyone getting these generic tattoos just to get a tattoo. Like when you and I went to the Island Bar and Grill out in Pottsboro, High Point, the
Yes.
lake. There was a couple of folks that sat down and they were just, it's not so much that it's just it didn't look very. They had the Funyun earlobes because they had taken the gauges out. And it's just like it's like the earlobes
They
quit,
dangle.
and it's just like, come on, man, what are you doing there? Those people that made those life decisions to get that far. I'm not against tattoos. I think tattoos are cool. I think if you get it for yourself and it's personal, hats off to you. I'm not all about those people having like their whole body as a mural. And
Yeah.
with that being said, my brother has a lot of tattoos, and every single one of them mean a lot to him. I don't disrespect my brother. I love my brother.
Sure.
But it's very personal. So I don't want to step on toes for all those folks that have tattoos, because for whatever reason you get a tattoo, that's your reason.
That's
I
true.
just can't figure out a solid reason for me to put one on my body. Now, my wife has tattoos. She's always said to me, "Hey, let's go get tattoos tonight," and I always cringe, and I'm kind of like,
It's
if
forever.
if I get a tattoo, I don't want to be rushed.
Yeah.
I want to get my tattoo on my terms,
Yeah.
and I want to be solid on what I get.
And you really want it to be special and mean something, like the Millennium Falcon.
I mean, it lasts a millennium.
That's right. And it needs to be from shoulder to shoulder.
You know what? First of all, how dare you? Millennium Falcon
Sacred ground.
ran. It was one of the fastest ships
In like 15
In the galaxy.
parsecs.
Yeah, 10 parsecs.
13.2.
Yeah.
Parsec.
Yeah. And it's so easy to fly. Everybody flies it in that series.
Yeah.
I
You
know.
It's amazing.
It's like you ride a bike, you know how to fly that thing.
That's not true. There were no bikes.
And you can turn it sideways and go through
There
like
were
all
no
sorts
bikes.
of tight spots.
It's
was
like a
very narrow.
Daihatsu charade.
It's charade.
You-
And if
you
you guys
guys-
disrespect my car
Charade.
one more time, there's going to be an ass
You
kicking.
guys can take turns kissing my ass, okay?
All
All right,
right.
so to level set the tattoo discussion so our audience understands, Sean's already admitted he has none. Paul, where are we at?
Oh, tattoo?
Oh, he's got a tattoo.
How many?
It's a huge vagina.
No, it's not.
On his armpit.
No. Most people think
Because it works the hair and it looks pubish.
I got a picture of it.
so
I
it's on my personal
Junk.
junk,
Okay.
and most people think it's just a WY,
It's a
and they're
vein.
like, "What does that mean? What does that mean?" And I said, "Well, when it's elongated, they think it's Wendy, but it's really welcome to Jamaica, man. Have a nice day."
That's a good one. That's quite elongated.
Did you get a
Oh, good
tattoo
Lord.
like that?
That's a scar. That's not a tattoo.
That's your armpit vagina.
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll
I
call
said it
his-
again. Sorry.
He had a surgery, and it doesn't look. If you see that from afar, does that look like a? Tell me what you think that looks like.
Looks like a testicle buried in an ass, like with a Cadbury egg tint.
Oh.
You know, that's what's interesting. That's what's interesting.
You
When-
asked for my impression.
Yeah. When I was being rolled
I
into
never heard
surgery,
that adjective, a Cadbury egg tint.
when I was
inhaling
being
pretzel.
when I was being
Very
rolled into
scholarly.
surgery, I was under the impression they were going to fix my shoulder. When I woke up, they had sewed up my vagina, and I was not expecting
I
that.
don't appreciate them making those
the
decisions
condom
for you.
Oh.
I know, me neither.
I mean, it's your body.
why is the government
No
making
means
that call for
no.
me?
They needed soldiers.
Oh my
Must have
god.
been a draft. Illegal draft.
So
Is that a mental scar or menstrual? What are we?
it's a menstrual scar.
Okay. So,
All
by the way, we still don't have a definitive
Yeah, I
answer.
do. I do have
Yeah, he
one.
does.
I
What?
do have one.
Okay, what?
I did.
we make fun of him.
Is
and
it a
he gets
tramp-
up
is
very
it-
upset.
is it-
No, I
tramp-
don't. I don't
tramp
get
stamp?
upset. I don't get upset. So I designed it. I had been drawing it for years and years and years, and I kind of went through my first of several midlife crises, and yeah, I took it to a tattoo artist, and yeah, he kind of he drew
What
up
is it though? All
he
I've seen is
drew
it's
up a
circle.
version of it. So I really liked Egyptian hieroglyphics.
Cool.
Right. So I kind of designed an Egyptian hieroglyphic tattoo, and he convinced me to make it more artistic, right, and less
Yeah.
blocky, round it out, give it some color, all that kind of stuff. So yeah. So in a nutshell, it's a combination of Egyptian hieroglyphics inspired with a kanji symbol.
And
And
considering the Cadbury egg color, to be fair,
We all know what that is, by the way.
it's got that Cadbury tint.
Yes.
We just fucking popped something in Brandon's head right now. He's like, "What the fuck just happened?"
oh, he doesn't watch that show?
We have never prepped him for that.
Oh, you
little-
never talked about that.
No, we have not.
Nope.
We'll come back.
I
to
haven't
that.
watched the show, but I know I'm supposed to sing it.
Okay.
So that's
It's
just
a
kinda the way
show
it is.
called Letterkenny.
But my point was, he's got some color in there. But it's
Oh.
not just.
Well, it's a lot of color, but of course it's super faded now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I
you
should
can
probably
still
get
see
it touched up, but whatever.
All right, and Jeff, your count? It's got
I have 54.
minus
I have
54.
zero. I have 0.
That would have been a safe bet. Vegas wouldn't have even taken the odds on the board.
Yeah, I have 0. I'm kind of in the same boat that Sean is. I'm not against them, but it's got to be right. It's got to be meaningful, and it's got to be in the right place, right?
Yep.
And I really like what my son did, Steven.
Yeah.
I like what he did because, I talked to him about it, and both my boys wanted to get tattoos, and I said, if you get one, it needs to mean something to you personally. It doesn't need to be some tribal thing around your arm that has absolutely no meaning to you.
Right.
It needs it needs to have a story behind it. I mean, so when someone comes up to you and asks you, because most likely, no one, when you look at a tattoo, unless it's very blatant, you don't know what it means, and get the meaning behind it, you're able to explain it. And Stephen did a really good
Yes.
job at it. And I'd like to be along that same vein, but I just haven't pulled the trigger, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's got to be right for you, and you have to have a calling when you have that. So, I mean, so to round out the disclosure, I have 2.
2. Nice.
So you'll hear that. For the audience who doesn't know, Jeff's son Steven dates my daughter, my one and only. So I love him and I hate him. So I love him because he's actually a really decent dude, and
Sometimes.
the conflict I had realizing I liked him was difficult. That I had to bear on my own because I couldn't show it.
Right.
But the part where I hate him is he has my daughter's heart at this point, and that comes with a lot of fear and anger and a lot of veiled threats that will stay forever unless
Good.
he hurts it. And so,
Good.
that's the reality of my world right now. But yeah, so I've got 2, and it's interesting we've talked about. Let's go, Sean. Where do you want to go first with tattoos?
Hold on a minute. That top left, what does that say?
Pussy eater.
Pussy-
On the
All
lip.
right, so we're looking at this dude's face. He's got a text written above his lips, and I think that can't be a tattoo.
That
Oh.
lacks any depth or originality. I mean, we
Oh.
all know
Well,
that.
I bet he just gets the chicks. Ribbit.
Excuse
He
me,
just
So-
shows up at a bar and just like,
son. You spelled your sister's name wrong.
do me.
So
Wow.
I was in a bar in Vegas, very, very intoxicated with a friend, and the dude next to me.
Hold on.
Actually, when you say
so
I'm at a
shocked.
bar in Vegas, you could skip the second sentence. We already know.
We're
Yeah,
Nutter
that's a good
Butters.
point. It goes without saying. Anyway, so this dude next to us is
Nutter
completely
Butters.
tatted out, and the friend that I have here, he talks to people that you kind of like why you stirring up trouble? Like don't talk to that person or this person, right? But he talks to everybody, right? And this guy's completely tatted up, and he's asking him, oh, what's that tattoo mean? Oh, what's that tattoo mean, right? And I'm like, oh God, this is not going to end well.
Yeah.
And finally, he says, "What was the most painful tattoo?" And he goes like this. He drops his lower lip, and it's that first word
Oh.
written so that when you turn the lip down, you can read it.
So that is so why that is so.
I don't know.
So if he gets when he gets that drunk, angry, I want to fight look, is his lower lip automatically fall like?
You pee.
Yeah.
To be fair, almost
Ooh,
said
ch-
it.
oh,
Almost said it. No,
almost
I
said
almost
it.
said it. I didn't. I stopped myself.
Austin, pull up. To be fair,
It wasn't. Which one was the most painful tattoo? It was most interesting, or something like that. And then that's when he asked, "Was it painful?" And the guy said, "I have no idea."
Okay.
So
There you go.
a lot of times, as people get the tattoos that they get, they wake up with it. They didn't even know they had it.
So, I'll open us with an interesting, hopefully, dialogue producing statement. So if you think about what you guys said about getting tattoos or not, Some people are very thoughtful and intentional about what they want to say.
Mhm.
Some are a little more free spirited and they say what they want and they roll with it. That comes off the tongue, but also applies to the ink on the body. And some are more thoughtful with that, and therefore they wait until they have the right thing to say. Jeff would be one of those guys, a thinker first, talker second, which is why I think you're probably not there yet. And then there's people
Right.
that talk first, think second, who
Well,
have tatted
and
their body up accordingly.
But it's also who the audience is for the tattoo.
Yeah, what's your why on it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God! Hold on.
If you're wanting,
Oh,
yeah.
I love that one.
They're showing-
regurt
Regurt.
is awesome.
This is
Instead
the
of
pictures
regret.
of tattoos gone bad.
Yeah.
No, the one below it. The armpit.
Yeah, look at that armpit. What is that?
Why?
Is that an
Is that an onion?
onion?
I thought that was.
So that's a very funny person. So good for her. I
Uh,
guess.
I don't know about that.
But back to your question, it's like who is the tattoo for, right? It can either be for you or it can be for who sees it,
Yeah.
right? For
Totally.
me, it was for me.
Right.
It was 100% for me.
Sure.
But Shelley likes it though, very much so.
Shelley does?
Yeah, she made a
Shelley's
comment.
hardly ever commented on it, ever.
Well, I was kind of making fun of you.
I love this pretzel
Rightfully.
dialogue. This is
and
interesting.
she'll always come
pretzel?
to my defense.
The pretzel dialogue right
You know
now?
what? These pretzels are.
It's like a bridge to a song. It's like a little tangent.
Is that a wiener?
Okay, you're gonna have to stop, Mr. Austin
Yeah,
producer.
look,
with
what's the one that
images.
says
They're
Africa?
getting so
ADD
descriptive.
kicking in here.
Scroll down. I just want to see the one that says Africa. Keep
Now,
going.
now we're in real trouble.
Keep going.
So some of the
Yeah.
things that we're seeing on the screen here for my audience,
Right
for
there.
our audience, is pictures of
One
people.
second.
Oh my God!
That's
There's a Caucasian female.
Oh no!
She looks to be within
no.
the 200-pound range,
Oh,
and she
no.
has a tattoo across her back in large font that says, "Once you go black," and if I were to guess, I would say the black word is in bold. You never go back, and it's like seriously from the left to the right shoulder, 2 lines, and then there's a huge drawing of the African continent, and in the center of the African continent it says, "I heart Africa." Once you go black, you never go back. I heart Africa. What the hell?
I think that's a woman who's in touch with her sexuality, and she has said, "Length and girth mean a lot to me." That's what she's saying. I mean, if we break it down into its logical components,
we
my
have to call this
gosh.
segment something. This is tattoo therapy, tattoo
we got to stop the
insights,
wrong. We could go deep.
tattoo
Yeah.
insights. I mean, where we're trying to project onto
This
these
wasn't
people what
this
they're
wasn't the
thinking.
design of this discussion.
Yeah, we
No.
got to get back. Let's get back to what we thought.
Yeah.
So it's a form of expression, and if you have something to say, maybe you've said it. If you haven't, you're thinking about saying it. Maybe you never will. I can see religious people saying, "My body's a temple, can't do it."
A lot of people
there
are
are
that way.
others. There's many religions where tattoos are part of celebrating that religion,
Absolutely are.
and then there's other reasons why you want to do it. Some do it to get laid or eat pussy. We heard timestamp. Others do it for self-expression.
Timestamp,
you know,
just to be sure.
Not to Simon Sinek it with a "What's your why," but it's why you're tattooed.
Yeah.
So you guys think you're going to get one eventually, Sean and Jeff?
I do.
Yeah.
I think at some point possibly. I think it's gonna focus around my mother.
Oh, cool.
I just haven't figured out how to represent it yet.
So you guys are not going to get one where when you're standing next to each other, it completes the tattoo on one side and then on the other side.
So it's like half the face here and half the face here. So you go like
That's
this.
exactly right. Yeah.
No, God,
So I've made a decision.
terrible.
If Trump gets reelected in
That is
2020,
terrible. That was
No,
terrible.
don't go there.
Are we doing a subject change?
Are
if
you
no,
doing Trump across
no,
like
no,
like
no, I'm not.
I dare you.
I will not. I will not.
Trump
If Trump gets
2024?
elected in 2020, I will get a tattoo, not of Trump, nothing related to Trump. It's just that it'll be a benchmark in my life,
Oh,
and I think that
a catalyst.
It will. It'll be a sign of times, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take the time to create that tattoo, and the things that I really love in life is family, culture, the culture of my family. Going after the DNA tests, saying I'm 98% from the northeast of Europe, details that. So I'm thinking, and
No,
plus
no Native American.
Northeast. So you're like
United Kingdom,
That's not-
Scandinavia.
Scandinavia.
Yeah. Well, east. It includes the United Kingdom, the northern tip, the Ireland, Scotland.
Yeah,
and-
don't do that.
I
Yeah,
found
that's
out.
not
I
happening.
found out that I'm related to Elizabeth Warren.
Really? So you're
Are
white?
you 1024th Elizabeth Warren?
I think we were both
have one too,
related to the
please.
same Indian chief.
But I was going to do the tattoo. Sincerely, I was
You
going
have
to do
a
the
family
crest.
tree interest. You have a genealogy interest.
I do. My mom has spent in a lot of time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that I've learned, and I want to envelop the crest, the Murphy crest, of what it is. There's several Murphy crests that is because we were spread throughout Ireland, and we actually have two crests because our family was split and two merged.
Sure.
So one of the Murphy crests, and strange enough, even the name Murphy means sailor. You know, not like sailor,
Hey,
but
sailor.
you know, but it's kind of like we were. It's not just sailors, sea warriors.
It's
Yeah.
like seamen.
A lot of that. A lot of warring. A lot of whoring.
All right,
Sea
well,
warriors.
that caught me off guard. I fucking
Yeah, you
spit a
did.
pretzel across the room. A good thing I didn't see. I think it stuck to your shoulder.
That's a classic Murphy move.
Yes.
What is that? Me walking?
Yeah. What do you guys think? The Murphy.
Ah.
Yeah.
Murphy with a dong.
Yep. It's
You like that?
calloused from dragging on the ground.
Yeah, it's a little
Good
Kind of
Lord.
scaly.
That
But-
tip is
but-
hard. What's
a little,
calloused?
little scab on the
Well,
bottom.
it's
of it.
definitely calloused after the night I came home Saturday night. God bless, man. Yeah.
Thank you.
So
It's like clubfoot.
timestamp.
Yeah, please. Okay, yes.
The other part, seriously, is I really want to envelop something about Star Wars in it. I don't want something mainstream. I don't want a Millennium Falcon or something like that. I want something kind of, and I haven't figured it out yet. I don't know.
I know.
Count Dooku.
Like you could do a you
Jar
could-
Jar Binks in the background. You have to.
You can do like I've hit a wombat from 65 yards. So do a wombat with a 65 in it. No one knows those things. Yeah, be cryptic. You got this. How about the serial code on the trash compactor that almost kills them? Like you can do a lot of cryptic stuff.
I don't want it cryptic. I don't want it that cryptic.
Okay.
I just want.
How about Carrie Fisher when she's sitting on Jabba the Hutt?
Oh yeah, as he's eating like the slug.
Yeah.
You always wonder where the end of his tail is when she's looking like that.
Yeah.
She's like,
Can you elaborate? I'm lost. Where's the tail?
all right. So, what kind of tattoo? You said you were going to get something about your mom,
I think so. I think something about my mom.
like Roman numerals.
No, I'm not doing a Roman numeral. I don't know. I also think that I'd like to do something patriotic, right?
Sure, the hell wouldn't be.
Oh, nice.
appropriate.
Something,
I like the patriotic thing.
something with the American flag. So maybe I'll get two.
Yeah.
They'll be separate, right? I don't envision incorporating my mother into something like the American flag, but maybe two at some point. But I just need to figure out what it is, and then it's nervous because I keep thinking this is forever, right? This
Well-
is if I don't like it, what's going to happen if I turn out there and it's screwed up? Am I going to end up on Google as 35 worst tattoos?
You know what will happen? You'll be hosting friends at your house, and then your friends will start making fun of your tattoo.
That never happens.
What do you mean?
That I've never heard that to happen.
That's never happened ever to anybody?
So if I pull my arm out and it says regurt, I'd expect to get picked on.
Well,
but
know.
you should get some free shots out of it, out
Yeah.
of sympathy.
Right.
So I'm gonna, as a pro tattoo guy, I'm gonna ease some of your anxiety here. So one is, you don't have to show it to be on the internet. Number two,
I
I
could
know
be on
it,
your back.
I know it's forever, but every year that you live, you're forever shorter. So your anxiety years are
yeah.
are less behind you. You're also getting to. We're all getting to the age of where we almost don't give a fuck
I was
Right.
thinking-
about anybody.
That's
like we're
kinda where I'm
married.
getting.
We're not worried about getting laid.
I'm
with it.
actually shocked you guys aren't already at that point.
Exactly.
I mean, dude, I got this back in 2005,
Wow.
and that was my first midlife crisis. So it was risky, but I had been designing that since college.
I was also thinking of the Tyson face tattoo.
I think you can't go wrong with that.
Yes, I
I
agree.
get that on my dick head.
I will tell you,
Dick head. Like the head of your dick.
yes,
Oh my
I've never heard
God.
the term dickhead described as the head of your dick.
or dickhead referred to themselves.
Oh.
Like, I'm a
That's what I'm
dickhead,
saying.
a dickhead. Yeah.
Oh.
No, the head of my dick,
Never
yeah.
have never heard it described that way.
But you need to do it with a friend, so when you
Like
ensleeve,
a helmet.
So
Yeah.
when you ensleeve,
tip.
it becomes a total
A
tattoo.
mosaic, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
You saw the picture,
I
right?
did.
Not the true
the
ensleeve.
entwining.
Yes.
No, that was.
Oh
the,
my God!
That was the
Jeff
handshake.
has another picture he forwarded to us. Thank you for that. Just that
No.
the horrible thing.
Hold on. You made. I think. Never mind.
Yeah.
You know what?
We did. So here's another thing to also make you feel good. Paul, I'd like your
And we're
opinion
still drinking.
yeah.
if
yeah.
you agree with this or not.
Okay, I'm ready.
So one of your worries might be, oh my gosh, I'll have to look at this the rest of my life. I will tell you, I hardly see my tattoos.
Well, isn't one
Do you
like under
agree
your
with
arm?
that?
Yeah, I mean, mine's, mine's,
I know they're there,
mine's
but
on
I
my
don't-
back.
but I
Mine's
don't,
on my
like,
back
look at it.
behind my heart. The only time I
Okay.
see it is when I turn in the mirror to look at it.
Got it.
It was never designed for me to see it.
Randy, where's
It was
yours?
always designed for me to know where it is.
It's on his
Oh,
taint.
I got it.
I thought I saw one under your arm. Or I
Yeah.
think I did.
I got a left bicep and I've got a right hip flexor. Yeah.
Did you say taint?
No, he did.
No,
Let's
I
be
did
clear.
not.
No,
That was Jeff.
One of these he's
Okay,
did.
here's my concern.
I've never looked at your tank.
All right, so if I could be honest, now
So the
I
only one I
can't
saw
be-
was
we
under your
have
arm.
we have one that
Jeff brought up the one on your leg. I never saw it because I wasn't looking.
we have one that wants to put it on his taint. The other wants to
no.
put it on his dickhead.
Right. This is why they haven't done it yet. This makes
well,
sense.
we should probably walk you through other options.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the
And
technology to
Paul,
become
an
a little
intervention.
bit more.
An intervention.
painful.
I'm
You
just
don't have to
thinking
have
the-
it on your taint or your
Tattoo and
dickhead.
intervention. Yes.
I'm just thinking of the application. What position am I going to have to be on to get it on my taint?
On the taint, legs are spread. I can promise you that.
So a recommendation for you guys. that
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the laugh that we've been
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
waiting for.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
We're gonna just let it go.
love
I'm going to stop.
Oh damn! I thought we were gonna get a go roll
I
there.
actually envisioned
Leg
his
spread
ass
in
spread
stirrups,
open.
legs in stirrups.
You did. You
Let's
actually
get that.
envisioned it.
Let's get that taint tattoo.
I'm scarred.
No,
I can't
I
think.
think
I'm
it's
thinking of it
terrible.
now. I'm like,
It's
Okay.
terrible.
So this will help you guys move this progress forward. So
look at
first
all
of
Jim
all,
Gaffigan.
yeah, baby. My wife loves tattoos, and I mean, she would love me to get a sleeve.
Oh
Really.
wow! Oh wow!
And I would love to. Now, you'll know I've made it to where I have so much money I don't give a fuck when I get that sleeve because I'm an executive guy. I've still got to worry about,
what they
You can
cost
wear
a fortune.
long
10
sleeves.
$5
Well,
grand.
first
No,
of all, yeah,
forget the
time,
cost.
but like
It's-
it's
It's
a
the perception of you
right
having
now.
one.
Well,
right-
that too,
right,
but-
right. So as a businessman, I wear a long sleeve shirt and stuff. No one knows I have any. So
I understand.
when I finally make it and I'm wearing the sleeves because I got so many clients, it doesn't matter and they don't care. But for you guys, what you would do is you just go to a tattoo specialist and you tell your story.
Yeah.
Like you tell your life story, and they're artists, and their greatness is to be able to extract what means things to you. Your mom, patriotism, and they can do things that us not well. I'll lump you in with me as non-artists, but
Right.
as people who can't do that piece, and they can build very beautiful things that are beyond your expectation that you
Right.
would get so jazzed about that you'd be like, sure, I'll do this over months and pieces and do it.
But I will say this: don't get the tattoo on the day. Like, consult with the artist, right? And they are artists, right? They are. So what I wish I had gone with what I wanted originally. There are some things that I did not think about, right? I didn't think about touch-ups, right? Inevitably, the tattoo fades, right? This tattoo now, the way how intricate he made it is in my opinion probably almost impossible to touch up. But I don't know that because I've never gone back. I've never asked him to touch it up. So I don't even know if I could find the guy. Do you have to find the same guy? I mean, I would have to
A lot of
find
times you do.
somebody.
Well, you have to find the original artwork, right? So this is what it originally
Oh
looked like.
yeah. So I have a picture of the original tattoo, right after it was done.
Any good tattooist, I would think, if you have the original, say this is what it looks like. I need it to look close to that again.
Yeah.
If I would have done it again, I would have gone with my design. I gave him the design, and he talked me into kind of changing it up and making it very artistic, very like as if it was drawn with a brush, right? Which it looked cool. It did. I liked it, but in hindsight, like I wanted it simple, practical, so that and now in hindsight, I could have touched it up very easily. You know what I mean? Because it was very blocky and very hieroglyphics looking, right?
Yeah.
So my point is, have an idea what you want. Go in there, talk it over, talk through some options, and then leave, and then come back, and then with he'll give you, and he'll even potentially give you, this is what I can do with this, like different options.
So what I can't
And
stand,
then so this is my point is it's sorry. Most of the time you think about you're slightly drunk, you go in there, you pick something, you go.
exactly.
It's not like that. Don't make it
Yeah.
like that. Is what I'm saying.
Most people don't.
Yeah.
No,
that's
okay.
There's a
true.
lot of people that do. So I guess what I'm getting at is that when
I didn't mean to air that.
the whole thing about
Oh, fuck.
tattoos is that it's got to be personal. You can't just show up at
Right.
like a fucking vending machine and pick one of 50 and get one.
That's what I don't
It's got to be
understand.
something nice.
That's what I don't understand. You walk in and they'll have this shit all over the wall. You're like, oh, I want that one. Well,
Yeah.
what does that really mean? Oh, it just looks cool. Well, are you going to think it
Yeah.
looks cool in
It's
10
a-
years?
It's a snow sled.
Yeah.
So you
It's
like
Rosebud.
that? It kind of looks like
Yeah, so-
Star-
So it is an artistic process. I mean, have that mentality. You have something in mind. You even probably have something down on paper that you kind of are playing with, or maybe somebody helped you draw, and you take it in there and you say, "This is where I'm going. This is what it means." You had a great point, Randy. Explain to him what it means, or her. I keep saying him, her, him,
Good.
whatever, and take it in there and say, "Tell me where to go with this. Give me a couple different options," and then you give them a week. You come back, you look at them, and you say, "Love it, go."
Well, and we look at
And then you spread your legs and get that taint,
there you go, man.
get that taint
taint
rolling,
tat.
get
Taint
that
tat.
And
the
you look
taint
at
tat.
you know, you look at the examples of our kids, and I mean, I don't think Steven will look at what he did and ever regret it. He's
No.
proud. It feels good. I'll tell you, Camden, my daughter has one on her
Oh
inside
wow,
forearm
inside forearm.
that
Wow.
says, "I love you, big as the sky," and it's in her grandmother's handwriting,
Oh,
who passed
fantastic.
away 7 years ago, and she's not going to have a grandmother for the rest of her life. But she'll never look at that and feel anything but warm feelings, right? And so, you know, I think our kids so far are doing good sentimental what's it mean for me
I think that's great.
things with it that who knows if that ever helps them in a time they're struggling, right?
Yep.
You know, you're looking, you know, they're not
Oh,
doing
yeah.
the reckless choices so far. And I think if people do it that way, good for them.
Good for them. And both of my boys have said that they want tattoos, and neither time did I say. Well, granted, I wanted them to be a little bit older.
Yeah.
I don't want them to make a mistake. But I said, just make sure you don't rush into it.
Hold on, you said both of your boys. You mean two of your boys?
The ones that are old enough to get them.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of what I meant. Sorry. Yeah, I do have a third. Oh, I forgot about him.
Timestamp. No,
Yeah, timestamp.
he's not. He's not listening.
Well, I tell you what, that he came up in the news lately. He wants a piercing.
Your youngest?
Yeah,
Really?
he's 15. He wants an ear pierce. I'm like, we don't do that.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just like, we don't do that here.
Does he want the big grommet?
I know.
Is he ultimately going to want the big grommet thing?
I don't know. Like the National Geographic.
Yeah,
So has anyone here
Big hockey ball?
had an ear pierced?
I have.
So have
I
I.
have multiple.
I was in college
So
when
we
I
No,
did it.
I know. I'm traditional, man. I'm I don't know.
I was in college though when I did it.
I was
So
15
was
years
I,
old. I had a
college.
story when I was 15. First of all, I did it myself.
That's a good idea.
Oh.
Always a good idea.
It was tragic, and I'll share with you.
I
Okay.
think I've heard this story.
So I'll try to make this quick.
this is when you
um,
bled out, I think.
This is I took an embroidery needle of all things. It was a little bit
God.
thicker than
So it was like
the
a 6
average
gauge?
Sounds like a great story so far.
Yeah, it sounds like a blowgun dart.
So I listened to my friends. They would take some
It's
ice.
like a ballpoint pen.
No, it's a calligraphy pen.
So I took ice. I made it numb, so I thought, and took the embroidery needle. When I say embroidery needle, I'm talking like you
Crochet.
Yeah, it's like a knitting
Get
needle.
the kneading. It's you're knitting through this little.
Did you make
cloth.
it? Did you make it red
It's
hot?
like
Oh
the
my God,
diameter
dude.
of a chopstick.
Did you make it red hot?
It went through the fucking ear. and I couldn't get it through because my hands kept slipping. So I took the needle, and it was halfway in already, and I walk away, and the needle's like in my ear, and I'm like, fuck. So I go up to the wall, and I apply pressure. It goes through, and then goes like an inch into my neck.
Into your veins. Yeah.
Right next to your jugular.
It did bleed, but
Your neck did not bleed?
it did not bleed. It came right out, and
You're just like OS.
man, it was just.
Mr. Producer, 1,000 points. Nicely done.
Game, set, match
So
right
That's
the
there.
a go-
producer
that
has
would-
put the gobstopper on there as a symbol of the brain being unwrinkled.
So that was pre-recording, right? We talked
Yes,
about the
yeah.
wrinkled
Prior to that.
brain. Wrinkled brains are smart. Smooth brains are not. He has a big picture of a gobstopper.
Yeah, well, you know.
So
it's all
Sean's
about-
brain
You
is
know what?
ultimately just smooth.
That was
This is-
fantastic,
this is-
Mr. Producer.
This is only my second show, but that little bit from Sean was the most dudes like us story
Oh, for sure,
yet.
for sure.
Because there's a lot of dudes out there going, I see nothing wrong with what he
Yep.
just
But
described,
I'll
and
tell
I've
you
been
what,
there.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. That hole went through. Okay. I got another one, and the thing is I never filled that original hole. I didn't put the earring in there. But the second one I went to the store and got it done.
Oh, good call.
Ching, ching, done. It done. I was like, wow, that was
Did
kind of
they
easy. I
use?
wish I did that
Did
to
they
start
use the same type of needle that you use?
with. They did not.
Oh, that's weird.
And the
They used a latch hook.
the weird thing is weird thing now, latch hook.
They shaved down a chopstick.
Yeah.
is that I still have a hole in my ear that I
Oh.
could put a right now I could put an earring in my ear. Not the one that they put in, but the one I put in.
Well,
Right.
sure, it's the size of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a Funyun, but it's and
Yeah.
you can barely see it, but there's a hole there.
Right.
So if I ever wanted to be a,
Yeah,
a
we call
Barbary
that-
pirate, I could be one.
We call that a deformity.
So
Oh.
did anyone else experience this after you removed the earring when you decided to grow up or get out of that phase? That you could pop like pus or shit out of it for like the next 10 years?
Well, I know. Well, here's my.
Do what?
Here-
Out
here-
of, the,
here's-
out of that hole in your ear where you had an earring, but for 10 years you could
Spoken
just
like a man
go-
who's got an earring.
Yeah.
you can go and a little bit of like zit grease and
Yeah.
stuff comes out for like a decade.
Well, I tell you what.
Oh, that's
You would you wouldn't know, but yeah.
Here's
That's
my
disgusting.
story. I got the.
Dick pierced.
Yes, I had the Van Dyke.
Your dick head.
The Van Dyck.
You had the Van Dyke.
Dick head piercing.
Wow.
No, it was not there. It's in the ear. And
slit.
I can't get over that.
Which part?
The dick head thing.
What? The tattoo on the dick head?
No, just the term dickhead in the term
the Mike Tyson
referencing
dickhead
the tip
tattoo.
of the penis as a dickhead. In that
Well,
same
isn't that what
phrase.
it is?
I know, but it's just never been used like that. I just
Well,
it's-
I wanted some. If I wanted some go fast stripes on the head of my dick, that's what I would put. Because that's kind of what it looks like.
yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna have to digest that. Please continue
Back
with
to
your
the
dickhead
zit
piercing.
ear. The zit ear.
The zit
ring,
ear.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was a
Timestamp it.
sophomore in college, still in the
Timestamp.
dorms, and I got the ear piercing, and I had it for about 6 weeks. And I remember we were in the dorms and we were all drinking and everything, and we started having WWE wrestling night.
Oh, yeah, that's always a
And-
good idea.
I see
and-
where this is going.
And
Yeah.
I got, I don't know, we were down, everyone was just flying elbows and everything, and I got cranked right on the ear, right where that piercing was.
This was in your apartment,
That was in the dormitory.
so you had
It's in church.
a mosh pit in your
Yes,
dormitory.
it was big time, and I got cranked right on the ear. And over the next couple of days, it swelled up like massively big, and I had the little stud in it still, and it completely swelled over it.
Oh,
And I was like-
a tree.
Yes, and it was big and nasty, and I was like, forget it, I'm done with this thing. So I pulled it out, and when I pulled it out, all this brown, viscousy nastiness came out of it.
viscous knee.
Viscousy.
It's
or
like an
whatever.
ear
That's a cor-
vagina.
That's a correct. It was
Wow.
vagina
It's
juice.
menstruating.
During its cycle.
Your
But it
ear
was,
And
but it
your,
was,
your ear menstruated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it was brown.
that's
So-
fantastic.
I was like,
Like
that's
poop?
nasty. Oh no, it was like pretzel flavor or color.
Oh, you tasted it.
Pass the
Yes.
pretzels, please.
So anyway, so
Salty. Salty
I was in
ear.
the dorm. I didn't have anything except I think rubbing alcohol. So I filled up
It's a horrible
Which
choice.
is
I
actually
filled
what
up-
we drank. It was called like
Everclear.
Stoli or
right. So I think I think it was rubbing alcohol. So I filled up
Before you continue, how thick was it? Was it like you were a wrestler's kind of thick?
Like a cauliflower
like
ear?
a cauliflower. It
Yeah.
was just the earlobe. It was just the earlobe.
You don't know what that is? All right.
Well,
Yes,
segue.
I
if
know
it
it-
swelled so much that
Yeah.
it was
It
it was-
engulfed the stud.
It went, dude. What are you?
Oh, there it is.
All right, that's by
See,
the way.
that's context, and
actually,
that's a cute
no,
little
no,
one.
no.
A
Listen,
cute little gob.
This is the image to the podcast. This is the app feature right there.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh
sure.
my god.
I'm gonna disagree with that. I don't think that's what we want here.
Yeah. I'm not
But
sure.
it'll set the expectation so low we can only go up.
I'm
Right.
so glad.
It's
you
an excellent point.
Got all this energy to do this, but you can't look up shit.
The love of a son.
Yes.
Anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so you're
You have a cauliflower
menstruating
ear
ears.
that's
So,
bursting
anyway,
poop.
this
poop
thing was
water.
just oozing all kinds of
You should be
nastiness.
looking up cauliflower ear.
And I got the rubbing alcohol. I got the Q-tip, not the Q-tip, but the cotton ball, and I put it on there. And I just remember, when you pass out, the tunnel,
vision.
just going like this.
Your
going
body
like
went
this.
shocked and just shut
Really?
down.
Yes, and
It
my
was that painful?
You passed out.
Oh.
cold. And my friend was standing there when I did it because we were, cauliflower ears. Mine did not look like that, but so anyway, I did it, and he said that I stood there and I fell like a tree, and I went straight back. Didn't stop myself. I mean, I just went and I groaned all the way down. And he goes, and because
This is
I remember the tunnel.
This is before smartphones, so
Yes.
nobody caught it.
No, nobody caught it. So I remember the tunnel. The next thing I know was me on the ground looking up and him shaking me, yelling my name. And I was like, what the hell just happened? And he's like, oh, my God, you went straight back and you just fell
was
like
this
a
in the
board.
process of pushing brown stuff out your
Well,
ear?
no, I
whole
put
time?
the alcohol onto the ear. Just like, I need to clean this out. And all I had was rubbing alcohol. So I was like,
And it was so painful you blacked out.
I guess I don't remember it hurting, but apparently it did. But it was. I distinctly remember the tunnel, and I just went,
Was this like immediately after you took out the earring?
yes.
See,
Well, that
that
has a lot to do with it.
that's where the body is fascinating. It will literally knock you out so that you don't send it into cardiac arrest.
Oh, well, I
Like,
did.
it was
I
like
was
take
out.
it off and go.
I was
Yeah.
out, and he goes, you groaned all the way down, and you hit the ground. I didn't hurt or anything. I didn't hurt myself falling, but he goes, you went straight back.
Yeah.
He goes, you didn't like cushion your fall or anything.
Your,
I felt like
your brain said,
I
"I'm out."
felt like
I'm out.
I was out, and he was at the point where he almost ran down the hall looking for help. I was out. I don't know how long it was, 10 seconds or
I'm
whatever.
thinking about what Jeff's brain is saying to itself in there as it gets ready for this moment. All right, he
Yeah.
already fucked up and got the earring.
Yes.
Then he got it banged in a wrestling thing. Now it's engulfed this foreign object in my ear. Oh, now he's going to put this on it? All right, we're shutting this down.
Yeah.
It's a reboot. It's a reboot.
I think the exact quote was, "Fuck you,
yeah.
asshole."
And we're taking over. Yeah. You can't drive
Right.
anymore.
You're done. You're done, you
Yep.
dickhead.
So I felt fine after that, though, and
I
I.
bet.
With the control alt delete of your
Yeah,
body.
my body was like, we need to reboot. I got the blue screen.
Yeah.
So when you came back and your system reboot, did it block off the pain you were feeling? Or
Yeah, was it
Again,
numb?
I don't remember it hurting.
It was numb after that.
I guess I don't remember it hurting, and I think I didn't put any of the alcohol. It didn't happen until I put the alcohol on it.
Yeah.
I was squeezing it, and there was stuff coming out. And then I finally was like, all right, there's an infection. I need
That
to
sounds
put something on.
exceptionally painful. Exceptionally painful.
Yeah, so I did it, and I was out, and then I was fine after that. You know?
And you can still hear
Strangest
out
thing.
of that ear.
Yes.
Yeah. And when I saw you, I never saw a deformity. So kudos to your
Yeah.
body.
You could still still a scar. If I kind of pull on my earlobe, you can still see the scar.
Oh,
That's
looks
interesting.
like a ear hole or a.
Can you imagine all the
Ear piercing.
cancer you would have had you not done that? Imagine if you just left it and
Oh,
you were
that
like,
would've
"Oh
been
my
bad.
God, I need to go to the doctor. Look at this ear."
Yeah, it would have been bad.
and they're like, "There's a stud inside there."
Oh,
So
yeah,
I-
it swelled up all around it. I had to like work on it to get it out.
they would have had to like stick a needle in there and
Like,
extract it. It would have been
yeah.
horrible.
So you know,
bad.
for the listeners who stayed the whole time tonight,
Yeah,
who
not,
felt bad early on,
not
like,
many.
wow, I don't really understand what they're doing. I'm inadequate. Then they hear this half. They're like, I am
They're good.
so smarter than these
Yeah,
guys.
they're good.
Yeah.
And we're not
They're
done.
like, and we've
So we
level
got
set,
some
yeah.
we got some dumb stories from these two. Now we're gonna do some
Yeah.
dumb stories from us.
Man, that's
Yeah.
been-
What's
that's
your
a-
dumb story?
I don't have any.
It's
I
so
arrived.
There has to be one. Or a
Listen,
painful story.
It's so dumb to think I have dumb stories. I have many leather-bound books in my library. I'm kind of a big deal. Ron Burgundy is my hero. No,
Oh, nice.
no, I think we've all done.
Idiotic decisions that resulted in pain.
Ooh,
We have, but I
Yeah,
think
come on,
back-
let's do that one. Idiotic stories that resulted in pain.
Well, I told you one last time. I don't know if it was last time or whatever when we were talking about the bikes. And I had the big banana seat, and we built
Yes.
this like humongous ramp, and I went
Oh,
straight
there you
up
go.
and then fell straight back down. And I could have, I may have broken my ankle. I don't know,
yeah.
but
Thi-
just the
things
power of
we-
youth just
yeah.
powered through it.
We should call this segment "Things We Immediately Regretted."
Well, it's a
Yeah,
little
that
bit
bike
of
right there I was on.
growing up, and it's like
That
a
right there.
Schwinn or
The
something.
pink one.
Except actually,
the
it was that,
tassels.
that orange-looking one right there.
Ching,
It's also,
ding,
it's
ching,
also
ding.
Darwinism, right?
Yes.
You survive natural
Absolutely.
selection or you don't.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh God, there it is.
Yeah, it looked
Self
like that orange one right
self-select.
there.
I think I shared the same thing. I did the same thing. I went up on a ramp. I wasn't riding that, but it was it might as well have been the same
It was a
thing.
little more sporty.
I think it was a Huffy. You know, I think the seat. It's the same.
Well, that's
thing.
called a muscle bike.
The
Oh,
Huffy.
what the orange Roadrunner muscle
Orange
bike.
Roadrunner muscle bike.
Ooh,
Yeah,
good
I think-
branding. Good branding there.
I think that's
guess.
the only way they could have got rid of that.
It looks
girl's
like
bike.
a creamsicle, and they're like, we better call it muscle bike.
Yeah, they're like, check out that bar. Look, we need a.
That's hot.
Yeah, no, any banana. Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. I lived in Germany at the time. We had huge military housing developments, big apartment buildings, and there was like 100 of them where the military soldiers and their families stayed. In between each one, there was a huge alley, and the
Oh,
alley was
fun.
probably 50 yards.
Good
It was,
stuff.
it was a big one, and in between the alley, it wasn't an alley where cars can drive.
Right.
It was just a big open. There was a lot of grass, and sometimes there was dirt. There was dirt path. All of a sudden, one of these weekends, someone had constructed a very large ramp, and from what I remember, it was probably about 3 feet tall. It may have been 2 feet. It may have been 18, but back then it seemed like it was really tall.
Sure.
And I saw all these guys going up, and they were doing all kinds of fancy shit. And then I go up there. I'm gonna do it. Joop, boom, bust, wipe out. Licked my wounds. I didn't even cry.
You can't.
You
Not
can't.
in
You
front-
get
no,
beat
not-
up,
I
and
didn't
it would
cry.
hurt
Oh
worse
my
to
God.
get beat up.
I picked my bike up because that was my building right there. So I picked my bike up, put it on my shoulder, and walked home. And they were just like, oh,
A fetus in.
yeah, truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
was
Kyle.
crazy.
if you
No, there
cry,
was-
they would have put you in the Third Reich or something. You got to be
Um,
tough
I was gonna
over
say,
there.
Well, there
Say
were no
Heil.
German people. This was a
Oh.
military
Oh,
community,
yeah.
so it's kind of weird because it was called Benjamin Franklin Village, and it's like right in the middle. Like nowadays, I think there's like a huge wall around the community,
Yeah.
but back then,
You
sorry,
mean
Knock down
Berlin
that
put
wall.
another wall up?
Another one.
Gorbachev tear down that wall. and he
Tear
put
down
up-
that wall.
well, I
And
mean,
they just made
have-
another one.
It's it's military soldier housing, so they need to protect the soldiers' families. But otherwise, Germany, especially the way it is currently,
Walls are bad.
there's a mixture of other foreign elements that are in Germany that didn't exist there.
But
when I
we've been
lived there.
told walls are bad.
Walls are bad.
All
They keep people out of place.
right, whatever. So back then they didn't have any. Back then they didn't. Okay, so we could, it was clear. In fact, I really enjoyed living there because we were able to merge with the German community, and I could get on my bicycle, I can ride down the street, and I can go to the candy store.
You get shot with
And-
salt pellets.
Well, when I took the shortcut past the
Yeah.
soccer fields, that's when you get shot with the salt pellets,
I'd have shot him.
salt rocks. So yeah, that's one thing. You only have to get shot once to say disqualified. I'm not going that direction anymore because that farmer clearly didn't like us there.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't even really feel it at first. You just kind of see. It's like the movies. You know how you see the movies and someone's running and they see like a little, like if they're in a cornfield or something, they see like a stalk dunk and fall, and they're like, "What the hell was that?" And they're like, "I don't know. I'm just gonna keep running." And all of a sudden, you feel this pain in your butt. I'm like, "Son of a bitch! I got fucking shot. I just know I did.
Yeah.
I got shot. Got shot with some salt rock. Very painful. And the pain Well, it's salt,
As
Yeah.
the
And
salt
it's a rock.
as the salt leaches into your wound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it starts to get worse
The
and
gift.
worse, and all of a sudden you're just like,
the-
son of a bitch, and you grab your hands and you're like, "Ugh," in there, and you're trying to pinch it out, and it's just not working.
So
the farmer's
some
gift just kept giving.
some weapons inventor who likes Shakespeare was like, salt in a wound? Yeah.
yeah,
Salt rock.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so let's make the wound with salt.
Yeah, we're gonna do
yeah.
it.
Perfect. Yeah.
Poetic justice.
And
wow.
you probably had it coming.
Well, this guy was probably the creator of some of the gas chambers
Yeah.
and the showers,
Nice.
as far as I know.
God Almighty.
So do Germany and Western Europe have their governments right? Are they not struggling with turmoil like we're talking about?
Oh yes.
No, they have their issues.
It's
It's
with
different.
what? With Muslim population,
Oh, yeah,
or
mu-
just in general?
Just in general, we've talked about a lot of things, but we haven't talked
Um,
international.
well, I mean,
Europe is struggling with unchecked migration.
yeah, oh my
struggling.
god, big time. I'll tell you. I'll tell you some snippets that I know for a fact. All right, so I know that for a fact because I've got two friends that are citizens of Sweden. Okay, so Sweden has an open border policy. Sweden has a I don't know if it's called communist, but they have,
Socialism.
They're
They
socialists.
so-
call it. That's what the socialists today try to yearn for. Is the
Yeah,
but it's
they're
not,
like that's
it's
a
not
working
reality.
model. It's a working model.
It's not working. So
I know.
that's the part of it. So they have an open border, and they're getting they're getting so many immigrants that are coming from the Middle
Mhm.
East,
Mhm.
and it's consuming the whole entire country.
and changing the
and
culture and changing
It's changing the
everything.
culture, and they're integrating and changing the fabric of the laws, and
Yep.
trying to envelop a Sharia law, and it's
creating
just-
no-go zones.
Man, I tell you what, the Sweden police department have areas. Is that what you're saying? No go.
No-go zones.
Yeah, they have no go zones where they just simply don't go in. You know, they're just kind of like, yeah, we
too
know you're
dangerous.
bleeding out, but yeah, we're not going in there, and that sucks. What kind of place is that to live? And it
Horrible.
wasn't like that, and I tell you, I feel bad for them. And you know what? That's not getting any. No, it's not on TV anywhere.
Nope.
That's
no,
crazy.
most of the publication is that Sweden and Finland and Norway are the happiest societies in the
They're-
world. They're
Well,
the model. They're
I'll
the
tell you-
model.
Socialist
I'd say
utopia.
99% of it, 80% of it is. 80% of it is really nice. They've got a lot of traditional stuff still ongoing. But it's that 20% of the place that these people have lived there for centuries and centuries and 1,000 years that it has completely changed. The hood. Can you imagine
Mm.
an entire region being the hood? I mean,
Awful.
yeah.
Like the size of Massachusetts. It's
kind
like a
of,
hood.
yes. It's huge.
And they have their own policing, their own laws.
Its own
Yeah.
territory. Yeah.
It's tribal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had somebody that
Bad
I used to
idea.
work with whose son lived over in Sweden, and they're realizing the expense of living there because they were looking at buying a car.
Yeah.
And in order to buy a car, I can't remember what he said. It's like a 60% tax or something ridiculous like that if you wanted to buy a car. Because I think they moved back over here for a short time, and they bought a car, and they couldn't believe how inexpensive it was, because there's such a surcharge and a tax on everything over there,
Everything.
because you have to
Pay for everybody.
pay for everything.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but on the flip side, everything there's a ton of things that are free.
Correct.
But it's not really
Yeah.
free.
I
It's
know
not.
that.
When
I
you're
know that.
working and you're paying 65% of your check out. So
Yes.
here's
It's
some of
not
the
free.
Guys,
the
that's-
economics
Yeah.
that was given to me, and these aren't exact numbers, but what it is there's a cousin, and he lives here now, but his brother, his whole family lives there, and they pay about 65% of whatever they make. You know, but his brother was out of work. Okay, so he was out of work for a couple months, and maybe even 6 months, and they paid for everything. It was like he still had his job.
Right.
So there was no break in it. The problem with that is that all these immigrants that are coming in are getting the same benefits
With zero incentive to go find work.
zero, and they're not doing it.
That's right. Why would they?
And-
Why would anybody? Human nature is to
if you
default
can
mode.
find a sugar daddy or a sugar country,
Bingo.
Oh, and they're populating
Bingo.
like fucking rabbits.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, well, if you have 2 kids, you get this much. If you have 4, you have 5, and they're kind of like, we'll just keep them going. It's just like,
Well, and then you can add the conspiracy about,
excuse me.
the long-term Islamic plan. If you want to go there, I don't know if we want to go there.
It is there, and it's. I don't know. I feel on one side of me, I feel it's kind of shitty, but at the same time, I'm thinking, if they're going to want to kill people for drawing cartoon caricatures of their interpretation of Muhammad, then fuck them.
Timestamp.
I just think it's ridiculous.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. We could get into all sorts of things that we don't understand about that religion, but that's a different topic. That's a different topic.
Well, I mean, that'll be another day. Any religion that gets to the point of intolerance and violence towards different, is it really a religion then?
I agree.
Come on, where are
Right.
we? Where are we,
I agree.
guys?
It's completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're never going to convince me that is a peaceful religion. If that's how they are taught.
I need to do more research on the Ottoman Empire and even prior to that, and just the barbarism that came from. Just the inhumanity, that just severing of heads, and
Well, I'd like to learn a lot more about the whole Moors and the whole Crusade.
That was not
period.
pretty either.
Yeah, it
well,
wasn't.
and that's where the historical bias comes in.
Yes.
Right.
So anything from the Western civilization is deemed expansion
Correct.
or invasion.
Mhm.
It's expansion if we went and conquered.
Correct.
yeah.
It's invasion if they conquered us. And it's the opposite for the other people.
Exactly.
And, we're back to control. We're back to the basic tenets of what we're talking about with civilization. We're back to control,
Mhm.
and power, manipulation. We're back to responsibility and accountability. And unfortunately, look at this podcast, but most of our governments and entities, we spend so much time and resources trying to manage those who don't want to contribute to the tribe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you look at a wolf pack or most animals, like if you're in a pack of 12 and you can't contribute, you're one dudette who can't, like, they're like, we'll leave you behind in the wild, will kill you, or we'll kill you and put you out of your misery, but you're not contributing to the tribe's well-being and survival.
Eventually,
And
they get to that.
when we have society of people that are like, I just want free handouts, I just want to live off everybody else. You can't do that. I think a SEAL training, like 9 guys holding up a raft and they keep loading bricks on it. One guy decides he doesn't want to put his arms up and hold that. 8 other guys are struggling.
Yeah.
And like, we hide that in 330 million people.
Yep.
But, you think about a 10,000 person company, there's a lot of people literally sleeping at their desk and you don't feel it. You're in a 10-person company, that one dude, he's out.
He's gone.
And I think we've got to everyone's got to stand up and go, I'm going to be a contributor to my society. And I should give more than I take.
Yeah, but that's not how.
But that's right.
The default mode of human nature is not that.
And so we enable programs that allow that. And
Correct.
We do things, and it's like, look, everybody stand up every day. By the way, I'm not saying your contribution has to be equal.
Right. But do something.
Person A could invent something
What's your strength?
that saves 1 million people or builds a company to employ 1 million people.
Whatever your strength
and
is,
somebody
right?
could save 2 children a year from committing suicide because they're a happier person. Like, it's a different contribution. But
Right.
get up, do the work, engage, lean in on your society, and contribute.
And
and
others
that's
could even
not-
guide people on what the best bourbons are to drink.
The
Correct.
possibilities are endless.
Endless.
Yep.
That
We've
one
got
in it-
guys. What's his name there at Total Wine for you, Chris? Or
We
What is his name?
I don't know.
we are the least racist country in the world.
Oh,
I
yes.
believe that.
By
agree.
by
I
hundreds
so
of miles.
believe
Listen,
that.
I played professional soccer. Like, first of all, Hispanic world is
Excuse me.
is really racist. Like
Hispanic, yeah.
the Hispanic
Community, culture.
oligarchy or culture, like Mexican.
It's
Who are
society.
they?
You're
Who
the
are they racist against?
each other.
Each other.
So
It's
listen, the
Spanish.
Spanish,
It's socioeconomic.
the Spanish,
Oh, for
the
sure.
Spanish are the top. They're the Vishnu of their world, and then everybody's another layer until you get to the Mexicans.
When you
Right.
say Spain,
the
you're
way-
talking about Spain.
Spain.
Okay.
Listen,
Spain.
and where you're from, Irish, you're the fucking bottom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got Irish, Scottish, English, everything.
And they're
Same-
treated that way.
Asian, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, Laotian. Like they all have their own
Pecking order.
hierarchy of
days.
that stuff. And then Western Europe, dude, when I played, like crowd would throw bananas at the black players on the field, and this is 1997.
The what?
The fans
the
would
black
throw
players?
bananas at the black players
black
on the
players.
field
Holy shit.
in 1997. Greeks,
Really?
listen,
Are we timestamped?
listen, Italians,
Really?
Italians, Greeks, they're all like uber racist. And by the way, what's funny is
That's too bad that this segment's never going to see the light
what's
of day.
funny, Hispanics can't tolerate blacks more than like
Of
they're
course.
more racist towards each other than we
Absolutely.
are. Like it is the craziest system.
You know,
But I do love that we're I love our country is so heavily scrutinizing it because I think we're trying to evolve more than any other country.
Well,
I
that's-
really do.
Well,
That's fine, but there's a fucking way to do that.
Well, that's
And it doesn't involve burning down fucking cities.
That's true
Right.
too.
I mean,
But-
aren't
but
we
will
in the
they?
business of treating everybody equal and
Right.
holding everybody to the same standard? Everybody. Period.
But I guarantee.
So the answer to that is yes.
I guarantee it's not going to happen. It's
It won't.
it's seen as an
Because
American
that's a
problem.
culture
You
of
had
bias.
mentioned
So isn't it? Couldn't it not be interpreted as a racist comment to say we need to change our board or leadership because it is too much
It's
anything?
It's insanely
White males.
Insanely,
females.
insanely
It has
racist.
nothing to do with performance,
Right.
Color of your
culture,
skin.
inclusion. So the striving for diversity. By the way, I get it,
I
But-
do too.
but it's got to be on merit. And it better stand up, and we should be able to scrutinize it. If somebody gets it, we should scrutinize their performance, their qualifications as
Mm-hmm.
even as possible.
This conversation came up between men and women in one of our prior podcasts, and it's just not there. I mean, people do not get a pay difference if you're a male or
That's right.
female,
That's right.
Indian, white, black, whatever. It's just not there.
That's right. You know, one of the discussion came up was women get paid 76% of what men get paid,
That's,
and I was
that's,
like,
that's not true.
and I said that's BS. That's not accurate.
I think it's flawed numbers.
Well, it is, and
If there's reasons
Any
for that discrepancy.
statistical is flawed.
and I-
Yes.
And I immediately said, you know, my wife is a teacher. She's a female. Does she get paid less than a male teacher? She said, well, it doesn't apply to that industry.
And then we switched to IT.
Yeah, we switched to my industry, and I said, I'm in a position to where I hire people.
Me too.
I have applicants, male and female. I hire who I feel is best. I don't say, oh, she's a female, I can pay her less. He's a male, I can pay him a little bit more because he deserves it or whatever. And Paul, you reiterated that.
Yeah.
And she didn't have a comeback for that. And after the fact, I should have brought this up. I was like, if that is true, every company in the world would only hire women because they would save 24% off the top line.
All the time.
Yep.
Right?
That's a good point.
Yeah, but every 28 days, they would lose a tremendous amount of
Ayo.
sales.
No, but that's why I think it's BS.
Wow.
Now, are
Timestamp.
there situations? I'm sure there are. But I have
That's
never
funny.
seen them. You know, does a female policeman, when she gets hired in the same class as a male, does she get paid less? No. Fireman, no. Teacher, no. In my industry, at least on my team, in my company, no. Paul's company, no. And in sales, I think, you know, you're going to get a 10% commission. Well, you're a woman, so you're only going to get 7% commission.
Right.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm not really buying it. Now, I guess it's possible that there are industries where we're just not privy to kind of the way it works. But one thing I was thinking, I mean, I need to look at how the stats are put together, right? If there are certain industries that are lower paying jobs and
Yeah, we talked about this too.
and they're dominated by women. I mean, let's say makeup people at Macy's, okay, dominated by women. How many men are in that industry?
Right.
And they don't get paid a lot. So are they taking those kind of, that's just an example, but are they taking those kind of numbers and saying women make less than men when they're looking at industry wide? Now, my point is, the only way it's legitimate is if it's within the same industry.
Correct.
That's the only way it's legitimate.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah, because like you said, maybe the all the ladies that work at Macy's and the cosmetic counters, they make $20,000 a year, but then you compare that to, let's say, steel workers, right, who may be dominated by men.
Right.
They make $50,000 a year.
That's my
And
point.
they gloss over and say, on average, women are making X.
That's
amount.
exactly right. I have to see
Correct.
how the numbers are put together to really know if it's legit or not. But what we have seen, it's not legit.
So
Right.
I've got 3 kids. I've got 1 daughter, and I want her to work for medium to large companies because she is going to be set for success.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell both my boys, own your own company.
Interesting.
5 to 20 man shop, make 3 to 5 mil a year, be done. But stay out of the game where diversity and inclusion is going to complicate your
Hiring
It is.
practices.
look. 70% of
Be
the
big enough to have a Christmas party, but small enough to have alcohol.
Right, 70% of the GDP is small business. Find your niche. Don't have to. You'll have to. By the way, under 20 is where massive rules in most accounting and corporations and reporting for HR and policies and handbooks are. I'm like, if you can find a way to make an 18-man person firm, get your revenue per employee person up to like $100,000 a person, do it all day long and control your livelihood. Because if you're a white male now, do not subscribe to the system because you're going to be hurting.
Yeah, right. And that's kind of the message that was told to me, and I've heard that for my entire life. Is being a white man is bad, and it's kind of coming back now. There's too many white men in this position.
Well, for 4 years at Yale, which were the most fascinating of my life in a lot of ways, the debates. I mean, there were 2 educations at Yale. That was your curriculum, and then your debates like this in dining halls and courtyards and whatever with just other folks. And I mean, for 4 years, it was a tug of war between apologizing for being a white male
Right.
and then angrily defending, I've never owned any slaves. In
Right.
fact, all of you Asians and blacks have more money than I have. You're from a family that makes $1 million. My family makes $30,000.
Right.
Right.
What do you want from me? What I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So why don't you give me some of your money?
Right.
And we'll call it even. And it was great, fascinating debate, but the broad brush doesn't work. And that's why find your niche, find your way to make it work. And I mean, my neighborhood, you've been there, it's 95% Indian and Asian. And I'm
Are they
not-
loud?
Oh, no.
Oh, they're very
quiet.
no, they're very
Very
reserved.
respectful, wonderful neighbors.
Yeah, the quiet.